Hi there, it's Kevin with Roguedeckbuilder.com coming at you for January 14th. This is the morning of January 14th, so we do have some January 13th spoilers that I haven't quite talked about on the channel yet. So this is Born of the Gods spoilers, so if you're not a fan of spoilers, you can abruptly exit this video and, wait for your pre-release on Friday in a few weeks. I think it's January 28th, somewhere around there. Anyway, so let's just get on to it. The first one spoiled last night. The last card that I talked about was Epiphany Storm. You can go ahead and watch that video in the playlist. But let's just go ahead and check out this Kiora's Follower, and it does have a picture here. We'll throw up this picture. And Kiora's Follower is really cool. I did actually put this on the Facebook page. We've been talking it on there. And the interactions this had, this is another Shrine of Nyx enabler, as you can untap target permanent. And the cool thing what is about Kiora's Follower is it also can untap a creature that has the Inspired ability, and you can get value out of it immediately rather than waiting for your untap phase. And there's already some combos on Reddit. There was already an infinite combo in Modern with Kiora's Follower and the white merfolk that says whenever a merfolk untaps, gain a life. Or taps, whenever you tap a merfolk, anyway, I can't remember exactly what it is. I'll have to find it out again. But anyways, 2 Kiora's Followers. Oh yeah, because you're tapping one to untap another, to untap, to untap, to tap another one. And it's whenever a merfolk untaps, you gain a life. So it's an infinite life combo. It'd be Bant colors. I don't know how playable it would be, as the regular merfolk deck probably wouldn't want that in the deck, because that would be, I don't know, I guess in Modern it's not too hard to play a 3-color deck, but one of the advantages to Merfolk, to fish in Modern, is you are just a single color, and it is very consistent. So Kiora's Follower is a very great card. It's an uncommon. I expect this to be pretty pricey as an uncommon, probably like $1 uncommon, because I'm sure it will see some standard play. It works very well with Verdant Haven being enchanted on a land, and we're already starting to see that this set is going to be very enchantment based. I'll show you a card coming up soon about that leads me to believe that there will be a lot of decent enchantments, and I'm thinking we might see some more enchantments that actually go on like a creature or on a land that Kiora's Follower might be able to abuse by untapping it. I mean, just right off the bat, though, Verdant Haven seems to be one of the better. You enchant a Verdant Haven on a land, and this Kiora's Follower then untaps basically for 2 mana. So that's not too shabby. Let's go with, and you can actually do it on the 3rd turn when you actually put a Verdant Haven on something. You can untap it and still add 2 mana. So it's not like a wasted turn with Verdant Haven. And Verdant Haven's actually decently powerful in this format. The 2 life isn't a joke, and the ability to add for any color is really good fixing. I'm really liking blue-green. I'm thinking that it will have all the pieces to actually be a legitimate deck. We still have some cool cards like Unexpected Results and Urban Evolution, and then of course Primespeaker Zagana, so definitely look for Primespeaker Zagana to actually see some play. We'll have to wait and see if there's some other, what Primespeaker needs is a good 5-drop to lead it into, so it needs like a good Thragtusk, and then that's why Primespeaker Zagana saw play before, was in a Restoration Angel Thragtusk deck that just got tons of card advantage. So we'll wait and see. Alright, so back to the spoilers. The next one that was spoiled was Fated Intervention, and this is a very interesting card. I really like it because now we have, in Celestia, we have another token enabler, another thing that we can populate, but again, it's another instant speed. Now, Advent of the Worm is a card that does exist and is one less, but this, in the format where you're 1-for-1ing, the problem with Advent of the Worm right now is it's getting dispersed in Cyclonic Rift and Simic Charmed, or just plain Devour Fleshed, Doombladed. So I mean, the 1-for-1. Fated Intervention can be a 2-for-1. You have 2 tokens, so you get 2 3/3s that have to have 2 removal spells for it, and otherwise you're going to get value out of it. It is a mono green as well, so I mean the Bug Flash or the UG Flash deck is still a deck. I mean, I've piloted. I had some success with UG Flash. The problem with UG Flash is it's kind of bad against the aggressive decks, but it's really good against any sort of mid-range deck. And this would be, what we're using right now is some subpar Flash cards like Shamble Shark, and Fated Intervention would be really good because again it's 2 3/3 Centaur tokens, which puts them on basically a 3-turn clock if you already had another Flash guy come out. And it's not too shabby. I really don't see you scrying too much. You're going to want to use this on your opponent's turn and a turn. I don't think the scry is worth it. This is a new mechanic that they've added. Basically, every color has a scry 2 if it's your turn card. We saw it with the red card where you can do 5 damage to target planeswalker or creature. And there's a new white one that I'm going to show you in a minute here that they're instant speed, but if you do it on your turn, you get a scry 2. So anyway, this Faded Information I do believe will see standard play. It'll see fringe play though. You basically have to brew a deck completely around it, as the 3 mana is going to be a little bit hard to get in multicolored or 2-colored even decks. But I think in the UG Flash deck, this is definitely a nice addition, as it is, you know, flashing creatures that kind of feel like Advent the Worm. And then again, you could go into an Advent the Worm type Bant strategy and just a lot of Essence Scatter, Celestia Charms, Simic Charms, bounce and control type style, and just win with flash creatures. So let's go on to the next spoiled card, which is Fated Retribution. Speaking of the instant speed white card, this is destroy all creatures and planeswalkers. If it's your turn, scry 2. 7 mana. Obsidian's or Merciless Eviction isn't seeing much play right now, and it's 6 mana. This is instant speed, so I'm thinking this may see some play, but 7 mana is really hard to cast, especially when you've got Supreme Verdict that can't be countered. And again, you get a scry 2 if it's your turn. Usually you're going to want to use this instant speed. I'm definitely thinking this will be just another card in EDH Commander that the casual crowd will enjoy in the white decks, but other than that, I don't see this seeing much play in Standard. And I could be wrong, but I don't think that U-White Control or Esper Control wants this. I mean, it could go in some sort of mono-white control or mono-white devotion type deck, but again, I really don't see it, as the 7 mana is probably not worth it. So, I mean, we already have the spell out of M13 that does the exact same thing, right? Anyway, so let's go on to the... Not too exciting. I'm not going to talk much about it. So let's go on to an interesting card here. This is another tribute card. This is Flame Wreath Phoenix, and there's actually a picture here. We'll pop this up to look at it. And this is flying with Tribute 2. So it means when it comes into play, your opponent can either choose to give it Tribute or choose to do its other ability. So it means it'd be a 5/5 flying for 4. Which, again, I don't know if that is going to be playable. I mean, we have Desecration Demon that is a 6/6 for 4, flying for 4. So it probably will see play. But Deadbridge Goliath doesn't see much play, and it's a 5/5 for 4. And this isn't guaranteed to be a 5/5 for 4. But I really don't see the other players really not playing Tribute, because when you don't play Tribute, it becomes a haste, and when it dies, you're going to return it to your hand. So I'm thinking that most people won't pay the Tribute and then Doomblade it, or because I still think a 3/3 haste, flying haste, which dies, it goes to your hand, is so much more powerful than just a 5/5 flying. So again, if they have a 4/4 flyer out though, they probably, you know, if they have a Desecration Demon, a Desecration Demon, they'll probably just pay the Tribute. But I mean, if they have something that can just block this guy, deal with this guy, even like Arbor Colossus, I highly doubt that the second ability will be useful either. So this card to me does not feel mythic worthy. It will see play because it's a decent red drop. Again, a 4 mana, a 5/5 for 4 for red is pretty good. And yeah, but I highly doubt that people will be letting this just be a 3/3 haster. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm gonna go ahead and say this is going to see play, but I don't think this is going to hold a high price tag. There's just better ways to use your 4th turn. You have Perforos in the 4-drop. Boros Reckoner is a 3-drop, and then a lot of times you just go 3 right to 5, which is much better in Stormbreath Dragon than this Flame Wreath Phoenix. So back to the spoilers here. Let's go ahead and close this. Another one, the next one that was spoiled is the Hero of Iros. And this card is awesome, because anything that manipulates the converted mana or the casting cost of a spell usually sees play in Standard. And it's just a 2 mana. And it's really good with Heroic, but a lot of Heroic decks that I've made, I don't like auras. because auras you get 2 for 1 if the creature you enchant dies, and with so much spot removal in standard, that is a bit of a problem. The good news is it works very well with like madcap skills. Madcap skills now cost 1. I mean, it accelerates you like an entire turn, and with all your bestow creatures, this actually works as well. So you can actually cheat out some more of your bestow guys, and he has heroic, which just, he's got the generic heroic ability that says whenever you cast a spell, it targets Hero of Arios, then you get to put a +1/+1 counter on it. So that's not a very interesting. I mean, Fabled Hoplites is better. The Captain, or what is it called? The 2 mana that puts counters on all creatures is better. There's just better things to heroic, but again, the Aura spells, I don't know. I don't really think that he actually fits in a heroic deck, more of an enchantment-based deck, because again, there's just better enchantments that aren't trying to target creatures, like even Underworld Connections, this reduces by 1. Detention Sphere, this reduces by 1. Sphere of Safety, this reduces by 1. That's huge. A 4-mana Sphere of Safety compared to a 5-mana Sphere of Safety is huge. And Detention Sphere, a lot of those type of cards. Even like Righteous Authority, but I guess that's an aura. Oh, never mind. It is just aura spells. Maybe I should read the cards before I start talking about it. So yeah, never mind. This is just aura spells. I think it might see some fringe play, but without any auras that come back from the graveyard, like Rancor, I don't think that an aura-based heroic deck is going to see much play, unless they do spoil an amazing, huge aura. I mean, in my Born of the God Wants, I did talk about we need like an Angelic Destiny type card, and then if they do reprint like Angelic Destiny, Hero of Iros is really good because it would be a 3rd turn Angelic Destiny that you could actually pop on the Hero of Iros. But until they spoil something like that, just in and of itself, I don't see the power of this card actually being standard playable. Again, I'm sure some brewers, like myself, will try to make it work, but with Ultimate Price, Doomblade, Glare of Heresy, and just the amount of even like Destructive Reverie, all sorts of cards that either punish enchantments or punish creatures that are enchanted, I don't see this seeing much play. But it is a cool card. I'm glad that they're actually building or making cards like this. So then we're going to go on to Fanatic of Xenagos. I'm going to save Mogus for last. Fanatic of Xenagos is a 3 for 3/3, which is awesome right off the bat. And it has Tribute 1, so it can become a 4/4 for 3, which is awesome. That's a Loxodon Smiter. And when it enters the battlefield, its tribute wasn't pay. It gets +1/+1 in haste until end of turn. Who in the world is ever not going to tribute this guy? So that's you know what the cool thing with tribute though is wouldn't Torpor Orb shut down? No, okay, because it was also shut down the enters the battlefield clause on this, so it would just be a 3/3 for 3. So anyway, I highly doubt that this will ever be this will just be a 4/4 for 3. I really highly doubt this will ever be a 4/4 haste fourth, unless they could care less about that and have like something bigger, like a 5/5 out or something they can actually deal with it. Otherwise, but again, this will probably go very well in a red-green strategy because they do need like a Loxodon Smiter type card, and this is definitely a Loxodon Smiter. And we can't forget this also has Trample, so it's awesome in a beatdown strategy. It'll definitely will see play. It looks like it's uncommon, so you can pick these up quite easily. This will be interesting and limited. It'll be definitely a limited bomb. And I've been saying since Return to Ravnica they needed like a burning the Burning Tree, not Emissary, the Burning Tree Shaman type card. Like that was a 3/4 for 3. They just needed a really aggressive 3-drop, and now we have it. So it's going to be, yeah, definitely going to be a great card. I think we're going to see a RG aggro Burning Tree Emissary type style deck in this in the Born of the Gods standard. So definitely look forward to that. And now that we're still on the page here, so much for a spoiler, here is Mogus, God of the Slaughter. I've talked about Rakdos, and I actually do think that this is going to be viable because this is a creature that wants to be, or is a card that wants to be a creature because it's in those colors. It's a 7/5. That is huge, huge, huge. Yes, 6/5 is a big deal, but 7/5 is a 3-turn clock based upon what other spell or whatever cards you've done in Rakdos, which is basically everything in Rakdos is hyper aggressive. This paired with It's perfect damage if you pair it with Rakdos, as Rakdos has hopefully got in there for 6 a turn earlier, and then when you can actually attack with Mogus, then that'll be exactly that'll be 19 damage, and any other sort of burn spell, or actually the Mogus can actually deal 2 damage to them, and that will be a win on turn 5. So you got to look at the scenarios like that when you're judging the power level of a card. I think that Rakdos actually pairs very well with Mogus. And it's actually a good Rakdos enabler, because if they didn't sacrifice a creature, they'll be able to take 2 damage, and you'll be able to actually put out the Rakdos Lord of Riots. So definitely looking forward to Mogus. Again, his ability isn't the craziest. Like, it's not nearly as good as I would even say Perforos, but it is some consistent damage in a control list, in a Grixis control, or in just a plain Rakdos control. This guy's pretty good, because it's during your opponent's turn, at the beginning of each opponent's turn, upkeep, it's going to do 2 damage to them unless they sacrifice a creature. If you're playing a Grixis control deck, they're not going to have any creatures. You're going to be Dreadboring them, you're going to be Anger of the Godsing them, and then again, there's ways that you can actually get this guy active through, like, Chandra, through Ralzeric, Ralzeric only has 1, but just any sort of non-creature permanence. I'm sure that you'll be able to get enough devotion and just do a 1-turn swing and win with Mogus God of Slaughter. So I'm definitely looking forward to Mogus God of Slaughter. Again, on paper right now, his ability doesn't seem that crazy, but in practice, 2 damage per turn, unless they sacrifice a creature, is that residual damage for a Rakdos strategy is really, really good. So I'm loving Mogus God of the Slaughter. I think his picture's already been spoiled here before, and we'll just pull this bad boy up. Pretty sweet art. So there you have it, and I really do think Rakdos fits very well in this. Again, if you have Rakdos in this guy, you can even still run a control list, because all you need is just 1 more, and then you have enough devotion for Mogus God of the Slaughter to actually be activated. So I still do think pick up Rakdos Lord of Riots. It's a card that's always intrigued me, and it's just, people have just, Desecration Demon has been easier to cast. I understand that, and you could even run Desecration Demon in this type of deck. So basically, it'll just be a bunch of 4-drops. With Mogus, Rakdos, and Desecration Demon, then you have plenty of ways to control the board through Dreadbore, Anger of the Gods, Mizium Mortars, Ultimate Price, Doomblade, Dark Betrayal, cards like that, to get you until your big beaters just end up winning the game. So definitely excited about Rakdos deck. Let me know in the comments how you feel about Mogus God of the Slaughter, and if you think that Rakdos Lord of Riots has a chance to actually see play. This has been Kevin with Roguedeckbuilder.com. Thanks for watching.